So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special session of Expert Talk. I'm Aarti Saur, CEO of Parisar Asha, Center for Educational Research and Training, Mumbai. It's a 42-year-old organization working in the field of education, environment, and emotional well being. We also have a toll free helpline number for emotional well being. We have a team of psychologists, psychiatrists, and this is absolutely free of cost. Whatever counseling or therapy help you need, it's absolutely free of cost due to great support of D Decor. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day. Suicide is becoming a major public health problem. It is estimated that there are more than 7 lakh suicides per year worldwide. World Suicide Prevention Day was established in 2003 by International Association for Suicide Prevention in conjunction with the World Health Organization WHO. The 10th September each year aims to focus attention on the issues, reduces stigma, and raises awareness amongst organizations, government, and the public, giving message that suicides are preventable. So, on this note, I welcome the president of Lions Club of Bombay, Vijayanagar, Mrs. Ashwini Amin. Shri just put a spotlight on Ashwini. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So,
Oh,
thank you, Ashwini ji, for joining hands with Parisar Asha to create awareness about suicide prevention. So, let's welcome our today's guest speaker, expert Dr. Deepali Ajinkya. So, thank you, Deepali ji, for accepting our invite, Parisar Asha's invite, and like you are giving your precious time over here for the audience. So, let me introduce her in a like a brief. She is Dr. Deepali Ajinkya, Director, Master Your Mind, Center for Medical Hypnosis. She is a psychologist, medical hypnotherapist, certified by International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association USA, and she is also a physician. She has more than 22 years of experience in this field. She is also a co-author of the book Medical Hypnosis: A Practitioner's Guide to Clinical Hypnotherapy. So now, before I hand it over to Dr. Dipali to understand suicidal tendencies, mindset, and how we can help to prevent if we come across such personalities in our friends or family. So how can we support them? So before that, Ashwini, would you like to say something, or we can start the session with Dr. Dipali?
yeah, we can start the session. I would just like to welcome everybody who's joined the session. On behalf of Lions Club of Bombay, Vijayanagar, I welcome you all for the session.
Okay, so thanks Ashwini and thank you Lions Club of Vijayanagar for collaborating with us on this, and a biggest thank you to Dr. Dipali. So over to you, Doctor, and we are all eager to know more about it.
Thank you, Ms. Aarti, for giving me the opportunity, and also uh, for the Lions Club of Vijayanagar for spreading the awareness about mental health. It's a very big concern for us. So I would just like to share some slides with you so that it will be easier for you to understand. Sorry. Yeah. So I would like to say today is a World Suicide Prevention Day, 10 September. And this year it is Start the Conversation is the theme. But with that, I would like to give a new headline for our today's talk is Say Yes to Life. So theme for WHO theme has decided for 2024 to 2026. And um,
We can't
sorry,
see the
am I
presentation.
audible or have I?
Yeah, you are audible, but your presentation is not seen.
Okay, oh, okay. Just just give me a second. I Can you see the presentation as well as me
Yes.
and hear well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So this year's theme for, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sridatta, can you share the slides because I don't think so I'm able to.
Ma'am, can you please stop sharing?
Yeah, stop share. Okay. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yes. So what is the aim of this? Why this has been a special day kept by WHO? Is the main purpose of suicide prevention theme is to inspire society in a general, the people to raise the awareness about the psychological health issues that we are ignoring, removing the stigma so that people can come out and talk about it, share their views, share their problems with us, and share openly that if they are suffering, just like we share about our physical illnesses, we need to share and talk about our mental sufferings also. Our emotional well-being also needs to be on check. And that is the reason which leads these mental illnesses to the extreme end of it is the suicide. We need to prevent from the beginning. That is why we have to come to the open to talk about our emotional well-being as well if we are suffering. And that needs to be done by the society, by our friends, by our people, listening to the person without any judgment and offering that unconditional support to them, guiding them proper way what help they need to take. Next slide, please. So as per our Indian government, the suicide, when they call suicide, it has should be having three criteria: death, and intent to die originated within the person. It may be specified like leaving a suicidal note or unspecified, and a suicide attempt where the people harm themselves with the intent of ending their life. But avoid using the words like failed suicide or like these words are not there. Only suicide or suicide attempt. Next slide, please. So why we are talking, you need to understand the gravity of the problem. So suicide worldwide shows, the statistics of the shows that 7 lakh people, more than that, die every year worldwide. Each suicide, when the attempted suicide, there are 20 attempts already, somebody are attempting 20 suicides. Suicide can occur at any stage of life, in any religion, in any area of the world, in any economical criteria also. Suicide is the fourth leading cause of death in within 15 to 29, which is the prime adolescent and young adults group. Globally, it is there. In India, it is the second leading cause of death. So it is more important for us to address this age group. 77% of the suicides are noted from the low and middle income group countries. The common suicide attempts which we see, or the suicidal things we see, are using the pesticides, hanging in as you know, using the firearms as well. Next slide, please. So when we talk about India, as you see the chart, it is showing that every year the rate is only increasing. It's not getting reduced. It is not getting under control. And that is why we need to focus upon this topic. It is seen in 35 to 64 years age group, 46.8% are all suicides are from this age group. It's the eighth leading cause of death. Amongst the aged 75 and above, men are more than the women. And 10 to 24, it's the 15% of all suicides, but it is the second leading cause of death in India. Next slide, please. So what are the risk factors that lead to suicide? Next slide. Mental illnesses are common. Chronic pain and chronic illnesses like cancer or kidney diseases, liver diseases, which are the chronic illnesses, they cause the depression and depressive disorders, anxiety disorders, which may lead to mental illness, other mental illnesses, which can cause them to think of suicide or attempt suicide or even do the suicide. Then there are economical and social challenges, which we see pretty often in the lower income class group or a sudden financial loss. And there is a copycat suicides. So we'll see them in detail more. So suicide is not a normal stress response. Please understand, when there is a suicide or suicide attempt, know that the person is suffering, going through a lot of distress. Next slide, please. So regarding the mental illnesses, the commonly depressive disorders, various anxiety, severe anxiety disorders, substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, then personality disorders like borderline personality disorders, so severe psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia. As I said about chronic pain and chronic illnesses, maybe it is kidney disease, maybe it is cancer disease. Past history of suicide attempts. They are more prone for attempting suicide again. Family history of suicide. If somebody has done in the family, they feel that there is no support, there is no backup, there is no one to understand, and so their suicide attempts are, or the risk of suicide is high in them. Family history of mental disorder makes us alarmed that okay, that person also may go through it, and so we have to be careful about it. Next slide, please. So what are the symptoms of mental illnesses? How can we look out for? So first we see is there is a change in their behavior, whether it is someone suffering we see in the loved one, closed one, or yourself. If there is any change in your behavior, sleep patterns, eating patterns, whether it is excess of sleep or not sleeping at all, or excess of eating or just the loss of appetite, don't feel connected to anybody, not going for the parties, not going for socially meeting anybody, withdrawing totally to yourself, going into shell, वो आजकल अपने आप में ही रहता है, किधर जाता नहीं है, कुछ करता नहीं है, loss of interest in anything. It is complete disinterest in all the things, not only just कि work के लिए नहीं जाएंगे, but he will go and enjoy the party, no. The total lack of interest in overall in general. You can see the absentees, like even in the children, they refuse to go to school, refuse to go to tuitions also, refuse to go to meet their friends. It's not just they are going to meet their friends but not going to the school. No, overall interest is gone. Absenteeism is that absenteeism from all, not just from the work. And excessive worrying, overthinking on the small matters. They think and keep on thinking. It's like I'm just stuck in my head. I'm just stuck in the loop. Next slide, please. That causes that severe long duration of sadness. All these symptoms I'm talking about needs to be there for 2 to 3 weeks. It's not just one day you are feeling low, but it needs to be there for 2 to 3 weeks. Like the duration of sadness is 2 to 3 weeks. Feeling low, excessive substance use, alcohol use, it's increased. It's no more just the social drinking, but maybe everyday drinking, maybe 3 to 4 times, and a 1 bottle at a shot, or going for the new drugs or alcohol, like the cigarette abuse, more than that they do it normally. Abnormal thinking patterns like delusions, meaning what is one person thinks, okay, I am sick, something is wrong with me. They will keep on doing the blood tests, going to the doctors again and again, in spite of all the reports are clear, the test reports are normal, yet they will feel, no, there is something wrong with me. Like that kind of a pattern. Or hallucinations, maybe visual hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, like मुझे कोई दिख रहा है या मुझे कुछ आवाज सुनाई दे रही है, I'm hearing something, somebody talking outside and all. Mood swings, severe mood swings. Sometimes they are just normal, very low, and sometimes they get very aggressive or they spend a lot. Anger is a lot, gambling kind of things, taking the risk. These we need to look out for. If you observe these irrational fears, less suspiciousness that some people are behind me, they are there to attack me or they think bad about me. Constantly, if it persists more than 2 to 3 weeks, then we need to evaluate them. Next slide, please. Okay, so as I said, any 2 or more above things, if they are persisting more than 2 to 3 weeks, then the person needs to be evaluated. You need to talk to the person, need to evaluate and take him for the professional help. But in case the person is suicidal or if somebody is getting the suicidal ideas himself, he needs to seek the urgent attention. Next slide, please. So what about the risk factors that socially and economically we see challenges? Isolation. This is very commonly seen now when you get a transfer to the new place. And the transfer is not only now limited to the government jobs, but even the private sector also you get transfers. So going to the new place, that language, food, there are no friends. So it might be just within India or it might be from India to the different countries you are traveling. Like they feel if they are not connected with others, there's no support, they feel lonely and they don't have the coping mechanisms with them. That is why that loneliness and isolation affects them a lot. Not getting jobs for a long time, financial crisis, suddenly there are debts, suddenly there is a financial loss in the business. There is no connection well connected with the family to have that support of understanding and caring from the family. These things we need to take. So domestic violence and sexual or physical abuse, any kind of abuse, and is a very much risk for them to go into depression, and they feel that there is a no way out of it, and that's when the suicide attempts and the suicide happens. Sometimes we have seen in the prison case, the persons we have gone through the prison or there is a legal trouble, there are legal cases going on, they also go through the depression. Of course, when there is a easy accessibility like guns, we see in the soldiers or the policemen, out of frustration, out of depression, this happens. And the main reason why we need to look out for is the stigma associated with the emotional well-being. Because they keep suppressing, they do not talk. That is why they are not able to access help. And so they keep suffering and this thing happens. Next slide, please. I would like to focus more upon children now. Children, as I said, because 15 to 24, we have seen that it's the second leading cause of death in India. Why? It may be simply starting from the difficulty in studies or their performances, changing of school. I've seen like not even just when the parents get transferred or suddenly some parents say, no, this school is not good, let's switch to the other school. Let's switch from one board to the other board, higher grade of board. The child finds it difficult to cope up with the studies. New friends it has to form. The friendships also, there is a chance that he may get bullied. Even the 8th and 9th standard children I have seen getting bullied when they join the new school. And that is why there is a pressure. They are performing very well till then. And suddenly in the new school, their performance starts dropping. Normal challenges in studies like the high expectations from teacher, parents, not able to understand. Teachers or parents put a lot of high expectation. No, you have to perform. You have to do it. They sit with the report card. If you have not got this, why is there so much of less mark? I know one case where he said, okay, you have to get 90% marks, then you will get your electric guitar and you can join your music classes in 10th standard. And that boy really worked hard and he got 85%. His parents said, no, from today onwards, you are not going to play guitar and you are not going to going for any music classes. More than that, getting from 90 to 85%, that boy went into so much of depression that his 11th, 12th performance dropped even further. But when we worked on him, when we understood ki, what is he missing out? What is it? It was the appreciation of the parents. Then, secondly, he was lacking his music interest. Music was his life. Music is a good therapy. And when he got back into that playing guitar, music classes again, his performance improved. He got that appreciation from his parents. His confidence level rose. So these are the things we need to take care of. Bullying happens, but the child can come and talk to you. Only you have to open, you have to ask the child, what is the matter with you? Then only he can talk. Physical and sexual abuse is common in both uh, girl child as well as boys. You have to take care of both of them. Ask them, even the boys go shut down, they don't talk, you have to know whether is it, please ask the boys also about it. Sudden loss of a loved one. They are very attached to grandparents or parents or uncle, aunt, and that was even the pets. That also can affect the child. Physical appearance and weight, because of the social media, because of the peer pressure, it matters them a lot because the teasing happens from the children. Children are children, they don't realize. But from the appearance, the remarks come and that causes them the low confidence levels. Next slide, please. So this is another form of suicide which is called as copycat suicide. It's maybe because of the hyperness in the media about certain events and also the romanticizing done by the adolescents. So one suicide they see and they try to copycat the same form of suicide. Next slide, please. So let's see what are the warning signs that may lead to suicide. How can we predict that, okay, that person may be having a suicidal ideas or he can attempt suicide? Next slide, please. Okay, so talking about suicide, they say in their conversation or when they are talking to you or anybody that I want to die, I want to kill myself. It's enough. I can't get through it. There is nothing left for me. I'm a burden. There is a whole guilt, shame, or burden onto others. I don't want to be a burden on others. They call and tell the people, I just don't want to be burden on them. It comes mainly from when they are suffering from that chronic illness. They feel very empty, trapped, lot of depression, lot of sadness. They don't have any will to live, feel very anxious all the time, constant agitations on small matters. They keep agitating or completely go into the shell, withdraw. There is lot of emotional unbearable pain that they are going through. Next slide, please. So how they act, the behavior that we need to see for the changes is complete withdrawal from, or it's more of a withdrawal from family, friends, not attending the offices, not attending the schools, not going for the parties. So now we have to notice that social media withdrawal also. They withdraw their accounts from this all the social media, they block, they go into shell, they don't want to interact with anybody. They sometimes they start saying goodbye to friends and family, saying the thank you note, taking care of elderlies or even the middle-aged people. They start taking care of the finances, what will go to whom, and how I will take care of what will happen to my children, or that being taken care of. If they start planning for that, they start thinking about how to kill themselves, like searching on the net for the medicines or the ways that to kill themselves. Or you have seen that my patients coming to me with stating that, okay, my boy has kept this rope in, I saw the rope, or she was trying to take that detergent powder or something to eat, disinfectants. These we have to take care of. Note that what are the changes that they are happening. Next slide, please. There are some myths about it which we need to clear about. Next slide, please. The first myth is, if we ask about suicide, it will cause someone to consider it. Absolutely wrong. If you ask about suicide, it lets them to open up to you, talk about it. What are they struggling with? What are their emotional struggles? What is the problem in their life? They can come up and talk about it, and that is the chance you can take to explain and show them the way, the different side of it. If a person is mental illness, really wants to, they can choose to be happy. No, it is not a snap that it changes. See, it is like uh, suppose somebody is suffering from a physical illness and the taste of the mouth goes, and you say, okay, you like chocolate, you eat chocolates, your sweetness, you will experience the sweetness and the taste will come back immediately. No, when the physical illness will get better, you will come out of that fever or whatever it is, then slowly your taste will also come back. Exactly same way. When we attain to that mental illness, when we correct those emotional problems, then they will start feeling better and then they will be happy. Next slide, please. So suicide person are fully intent on dying. No, they are not. They are always ambivalent till the last end. That little hope always remains that something, but we have to be careful about that. We have to catch that little thread that is being still left. Myth. People who talk about suicide don't commit suicide. Suicide happens without one. No. 80% of the time, they are giving us the warning. And these are the warning signs which I explained to you before. We have to look out. Next slide, please. So how we start the conversation, the WHO theme that has a theme. Next slide, please. So there are protective factors which we can prevent the suicide from. Individual factors, relationship factors, and community factors. So at individual level, what we can do to prevent suicide. Next slide, please. So individual factors are learning the coping mechanisms. As I said, the risk factor was isolation, the transfer. So what will be the coping at that time? You must have seen the recent ad of WhatsApp that the boy is the chef, new chef. He goes to the south country. He's from north and he's feeling low. He messages his mother, "What should I do?" And then he starts learning their language, their cuisine, and starts learning. These are the coping mechanisms. So even if you are into isolation, even if you are away from your loved ones, you can still have that coping mechanisms. Forming ability to form your new friends, ability to cope up with the new things, the difficulties that come, because life is a roller coaster, right? We have to deal with it. These coping skills also include your self-care. Self-care doesn't mean being selfish. Self-care means you have to be self-sufficient. Now it starts from just the way we do physical gym, we have to do mental gym. Learning to mental exercises, thought management, journaling every day, gratitude journal. What is good about you? That you have to appreciate yourself. Here, I would like to tell children what they can do mainly about, because the biggest stress of them is the studies. Coping for that is, as you get the report card from the school, you start maintaining the report card of yourself. And in that, you have to write not only the marks that you have given, but what you have done well that has helped you, and what you need to correct that will help you in future. It may be your study patterns, it may be the subject you need to focus, it may be how many hours you need to go, or do you need any extra classes, do you need any extra understanding any subject. So these are the kind of ways you can cope up with the difficulties. If you talk to the teachers, teachers need to understand, okay, this person is weak in studies, let him focus on what he is good at, encourage that. That is the positive attitude. Look at the positives about him, because not everybody is same. See, it is like cricketing. There are 11 players. One is a batsman, one is a bowler. Everybody is special and unique in their ways. Teachers and parents need to find what is special about my child. Is my child special in science, maths, or sports, arts? Encourage that in the child. That way, how you will develop the children. second point is reasons for living. This is essential for elderly and middle age. I'll ask you a simple question and think about it in your mind. What are your plans for retirement? The first thing comes is about your finances. But have you thought about what will you do every day when you retire? What will be the purpose that will keep you going? That we need to start thinking. That we also need to start planning. That how will we keep ourselves busy meaningfully? The purpose might be just giving love, giving experience, start from your housework to society work. So many elderlies take the initiative for the society work, their corporate societies work. They do the great job because the younger ones are not having able to give that much of time. So that we connecting to the friends, how will you keep connected to the friends? Developing the hobbies that will help you even in the advanced age. Also, the strong sense of identity, which is essential for all age groups, starting from the child. And that sense of identity, parents and teachers are there to help to develop that sense of identity. Because there are a lot of risk, lot of peer pressure already onto the children. Teachers and parents are the two pillars which can boost the identity to help them identify what is good about that person. Next slide, please. In relationship factors, it is how your bonding is there with the partners, with your friends, your family time, understanding each other. There is a very good our cultural system in Indian family system is one meal together. Like a dinner time together, you can keep it. And at that dinner time, everybody will sit together, entire family. And everybody will share what has good happened during that day with that person. That creates a good atmosphere that helps you in the digestion, that helps you to bond also. No negative things on the table. Just the positive things happen and everybody needs to share that. That plus talking to your children, sitting with them, understanding them, what is in general happening with them. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? That is the support everybody needs. Each other, partners also need to understand what is suffering. Is there an office pressure? Is there a house chore pressure? What is it? That makes us feel connected to each other. Next, about the children, I would like to talk about. Next slide, please. In children, as I said, the family time is essential. Help them to set routines in their studies if they need to learn to discipline themselves rather than you disciplining them, because it's a habit setting. And help them to understand that there are now it's a variety of the large expanded awareness needs to be there about this expanded variety of accessibility to various courses that are available. It's not just the engineering, this, that, arts or commerce, but there are medias, journalism, lot of there. So you need to make the child understand what you are interested in. Even with the fun activities or the hobbies, let the child decide. Not because, okay, इनका बच्चा यहाँ पे जा रहा है तो तुम भी यहाँ पे जाओ. No, I've seen people throwing their children into the athletic classes or gymnasium classes. Does the child like going for the music? You learn piano, you learn guitar. Does the child like? Ask them, what do they like? Lastly, but not least, provide them with proper information. You just say, okay, हाँ वो Google search करता है. क्यों? Friends के पास जाता है. क्यों? If you are giving the right information, nobody else can give the right information other than parents and teachers. First, let them be so open to come up to you and ask you. So whenever the child is asking you anything, just don't shrug off कि ये तेरे अभी क्यों पूछ रहा है? Now it's the time for you to focus on your studies. No, breakup is also the cause of stress at this age. You need to explain to them. There is the gender identification also is the cause of stress in this. They are confused. Only the parents and teachers can guide them. And if you are confused about their problem, their question, you feel that you can't answer it, please guide them to the right person who can answer their questions. But just don't say, okay, इसके बाद में अभी नहीं बात करना है, अभी तो बड़ा हो जाएगा फिर बात। नो, answer them, at least show them that concern that their question is right. Next slide, please. What as a community level we are doing? I don't have to say that to you because I already see Miss Aarti and at Lions Club also taking this initiative. That is what we need. That initiative taking from the community societies, these NGOs to spread the awareness and increase the accessibility to the mental health care, which is already there. Okay, next slide, please. So at the individual level, how we can change the narrative about the suicide, how we can start talking about it. So take out the time to reach out to your loved ones, show them your support, ask them if they need help, then show them to the therapist. If you are somebody is suffered already, you have suffered from, then what helped you to get over it, that you need to share. Next slide, please. At the community level, as I said, removing the stigma by organizing this kind of events, which will increase and which will help people to talk about it. There are regular, like Alcohol Anonymous, and there are regular support groups are there, like helplines are there, where you can encourage people to have talk without you judging them. Next slide, please. So how to help the person who is already having the suicidal thoughts? Is first rule is take them to their words. Whatever they say, take it that they mean it. So that validates their feelings and which leads them to not suffer in silence but open up and talk to you. This will help you to prevent the person if is going to do the suicide. Next slide, please. How to listen? Pay attention to their entire body language. As I've explained to you earlier, the warning signs, please look for those warning signs. Encourage them to talk about it. What are they suffering from? What is there? The moment you show compassion and your feelings, support, they will open up. Anybody will require just the compassion and empathy. That will help them to open up. If you will just need to show that, okay, we acknowledge your feelings. And there is no judgment needs to be there. Do not criticize about it. Do not argue at that time. Just offer simple help, compassion, and listening to them. Next slide, please. So how to be that empathetic listener? Is mind your body language also. Not having a mobile in one hand and listening to them. No. Fully pay attention to. I do eye contact, but in a very gentle way, in a compassionate way. Don't judge when they are saying, oh, this is a very trivial thing. What are you making a big issue of it? No. Oh, really? Is it a big thing for you? Okay, I understand. I get it. How can I help? Ask them, how can I help? What I can do for you to make you feel better. Maybe there are certain exercises their therapists have done, like the grounding exercises or talking to somebody or saying certain words to them or breathing exercise. Help them to do that. If they have never gone to the therapist, at that time, just listen to them, talk to them, let them open up. You don't know what will help the person, but showing that compassion to them, it never goes wrong. Next slide, please. This is for the children who suffer from. You need to talk and express yourself. Don't suffer in silence. Don't suppress things. Open up, because sometimes, or most of the times, when we are into that zone, it's like the blind vision. We can see only that. We cannot see the bigger picture of life, the bigger picture of that situation. Somebody else only can guide us. Okay, this is also the way you can do it. This is also the way see it. Maybe your friends can tell you, and the adults are always having more experience. So feel free to approach your teacher, approach your parent. And when the student is approaching or the child is approaching, first listen. Ask him, what is your problem? Why, not why did you do it? Or क्या कमी है, हमने क्या कमी कर दी? No. Ask him what he wants, what she wants, what is bothering them, whether it is school, whether it is your language or your things not feeling connected, the parental fights that is affecting them, the parents are going through divorce that is affecting them. You need to ask them, and the children need to talk. If you're, and remember always that when you go to the therapist, whatever you talk to the therapist or the psychiatrist, it always remains confidential. So you can open up freely and talk to them. Next slide, please. So how to help when a person is actually having that high risk suicide? He is there. He's saying, I want to die. There is a rope in my hand. I want to hang myself, or I want to cut myself. I want to drink this. That person, if you are in person with that person, do not leave the person alone. Take him to the emergency department of the hospital or call the helpline. Ask them to come, and till that helpline or he gets the help or she gets the help, be there with that person. Stay with that person on phone if you are not in person with the person. If you are in person there and you see that he's having that whole rope, or he's having those anything that substances or anything that he's trying to kill himself with or herself with, remove them immediately and stay there. Don't leave him alone. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So these are the few helpline numbers, and also Parisar Asha is doing a very good work about connecting and offering that emotional well-being helpline where you can talk freely. That's it. Thank you. Next slide, please. This is Say Yes to Life. I recently saw one movie. It was about the Society of Snow or some movie about that. So the plane crashes and there are 60 people who are stuck in the mountains. It's in Russia or somewhere. It's like the Himalayan mountain range. And it's middle of nowhere, only the snow. There are more than 100 of people over there. Some are few start dying. But only two people. They are mainly there for more than 50 or 60 days they're there, and the Air Force or the government stops the search because it's difficult due to storm and everything. Out of so many crowd, two people decide, one people mainly, and then the other one follows him. He said, rather than getting stuck, remaining stuck over here, let me walk through. Let me climb those mountains and reach to because I know there is a village there somewhere. I need to go there and find help rather than die over here. He goes there, he walks through the hip level snow for 10 days and he gets help. He reaches the village. So never lose hope. Say always yes to life. You will find a way. Always there is, no matter how dark it is, there is always a ray of hope. Hold on to that way. Thank you so much. Last slide, please. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, doctor. It was really indeed wonderful. You explained so beautifully all the suicidal symptoms, risk factors, social and economical challenges, especially in children, copycat suicides, warning signs of suicide, myths and facts, and protective factors. And very important is how to help. So I'm sure this is
Right.
going to be really, really beneficial to everyone, because we, like when we get to know that, oh, that person has committed suicide, and that becomes so shocking because you know that person, and that person has never reached out to you or anybody, and that becomes
Hmm.
so shocking that, I was talking to that person, or I know that person so well. What must have gone wrong? So I think
Hmm.
this is very important for all of us to keep our eyes and ears open and be ready to help, be ready to talk, whatever your emotions are. So that's where, Dr. Dipali, we have this our emotional well-being helpline.
Hmm.
Shri, can you just share the helpline number? So, if anybody wants to connect with us, it's morning 9 o'clock till night 9 o'clock. It's open. We have our counselors who attend these helpline. Like they are there. We have psychologists, psychiatrists also, and it's absolutely free of cost. And I'm sure you have also shared your number. So if anybody wants to contact Dr. Dipali also, you're most welcome, and that will be really a good support for anyone who's suffering or anybody's near and dear one is going through this bad phase of life. And I'm really happy that Parisar Asha is doing this great work, and Asha, like in our name only there is hope. Since doctor you were talking about hope, so I think let's spread this hope and we can open this forum for questions now. So अगर आपको किसी को कोई भी क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर जी से पूछना है, तो you're most welcome. You can just raise your hand and then we can unmute you. But I think you have so beautiful. Sai has raised hands. Shri, can you just unmute him?
Sai,
Hello.
you can unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. This is Sai here, and really, I wanted to appreciate the whole thing that you just explained. It was really great and very inspirational as well. The point that you mentioned about the whole, dealing with the suicidal thoughts. I just wanted to ask you this one thing, that how to deal with the perpetuating factors. Like, for example, in a lot of cases, you see that kids are having parents who are abusive, right? If the parents who are like considered to be the primary social sphere, if they are only abusive, then who should the kids go to? Then what should the kids do?
First thing, you have to tell that child that you are not alone. There is a help outside. Even if the children, the parents, it's not helping. See, I get this type of patients to me many times. It's really unfortunate when the parents are that abusive and unloved, feeling that comes from that. What I give example of it is our eyes. Some are born or with the accident. It happens that you lose the eyesight. The blind persons never give up. They use their other senses to learn. Like we have a braille, so with the touch senses, we use it. Parents are our vision. They give us the vision of life. If our parents are harmful or they have the not love, we are not getting that much of love, don't give up on life. Use the other sources. There are NGOs, there are social workers who can help you. Go to your teachers, talk to them about this problem, get them into confidence. Teachers also need to provide that support. See why the child is suffering from such a stress. Is there a problem? Are the parents fighting with them, or are the parents hitting the child? If the child starts opening even to his peers may share it with their parents कि वो मैंने सुना था कि इसके बच्चे को उसको ना उसके पापा बहुत मारते हैं या मम्मी बहुत मारती है. They might approach the child, they might approach the NGOs or social workers that can provide the help. That's what I meant by never lose the hope. Find a way. If your vision is affected, use the other senses. Same way, if the parents are not there, not giving the love, there are other ways to love in life.
Yeah, anybody else? In fact, doctor, I would like to share over here that we conduct these free sessions. Like our team goes to the schools, and especially we cater to all different categories of schools. We don't cater to like any particular. So or any socio-economically challenged school also we go, because there it's the more like need of the hour, because there many schools they don't have even counselors today. So that's where
Right.
like our team goes to these schools and they conduct these free emotional well-being workshops. And in that workshop, a lot of children they come and they open up, like whatever
Yes.
challenges they have at their homes. So they come to our counselors, they open up, and that's how like we reach out to the schools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But they need to open up. The child needs to understand that no need to feel
That's where
helpless.
the
There
peace
is
kind
a
of-
help outside.
Right. But many a times, see, they are not aware, because once you are exposed to that, then they realize, oh, is it? That means there is a problem with me. Because many a
Yes.
times they don't realize that there is a problem and there is somebody who can help us, because this
Yes,
is
sometimes they don't even realize that this is something happening wrong with me.
yes,
That this kind of there is a difference between a discipline and abuse. So
no,
they don't even understand. कि, okay, parents are there, they are going to hit me, they are disciplining me. No, but till what level the discipline ends and the abuse starts?
no,
That
that's
also the awareness the children need to get.
yeah. And unfortunately, today in our society, still mental health is a social stigma. अभी भी when we
Yes,
tell the children, like parents, ना, they say मेरा बच्चा पागल नहीं है डॉक्टर के पास जाने के लिए. So these are the words, sentences used by the parents. So
right, right.
I'm happy that there is, of course, there is a lot of shift. Like for this helpline is, we started 6, 7 years back, and we have really seen a big shift. Like people,
Right.
like especially
So
after COVID. Yeah,
yeah. So for that, like people say ना कि पागल तो नहीं है जाने के लिए. What I say is, don't you see the mirror? You have your correct eye vision. I agree. But still, don't you look into the mirror at least once in a day when you are stepping out of the house, that you are dressed well. Therapists and psychiatrists are like that. They will help you see yourself, how
wonderful.
you are, where you need help. That. So we are like mirrors. So you have to come free and talk to
Absolutely,
us. We'll show you them.
absolutely wonderful. So, any more questions, or should we close for the day? And let's hope to have a better society, and let's hope that
Yeah.
nobody takes this drastic step. So, Ashwini, would
Hopes.
you like to share something?
Yeah, I would like to thank Dr. Deepali for this wonderful
Thank you.
webinar. You covered all the topics in detail, and it's nice to know that whoever is suffering from mental whatever problems, there is help. Like you as a doctor, you're there. Parisar Asha is and other helplines are there where people can reach out if they have any problem. I would thank Parisar Asha today for organizing this webinar, and I also thank Dr. Deepali for spending your valuable time and having this
Thank
webinar.
you to
Thank you
both of
so much.
you for giving
Thank you
the
so much.
opportunity to spread this awareness.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more
Thank you.
questions? I think I can. Sai, any more questions, or that's it?
Yes, ma'am. Just one last question I had.
Yeah.
That what are the like you mentioned about the grounding techniques, right? What are
Yes.
some of the common grounding techniques that one can use? So can you
Oh,
just
great.
enlighten us
The
about it?
mindfulness exercises, mindfulness 5 sense exercises, breathing exercises, walk you daily. You can, if you are not able to control, it's the best way involve into any physical exercise. So these we call as a grounding. Basically, grounding exercises are it's like a brake system. If you're speeding in a car on a road, then you need to put a brake to, then only you can change the gear and direction. The same way grounding exercises are the brake system. They put a stop onto your thoughts and help you to connect back yourself to the present, where you are, what are you doing right now, everything is fine, or you can get help to make it fine. That confidence needs to come there, and that is why these are called as grounding exercise, to bring you and ground you into the present moment in now. So mindfulness 5 sense exercise, like 4 or 5 things you see, then the sounds you hear, the touch, what you feel, the dress, the pressure you feel, this smell you smell, then the taste in your mouth. After that 5 sense exercise, bring your mind to your breathing. Just remain aware of the breathing, how it is happening. Focus, simply remain aware without judging where the way it is happening, without altering the way it is happening. Just follow the breath. Maybe say relax with every breath. Thoughts will come, let them come and go. Just bring your attention back onto your breath. Help someone to guide through this to you if you are not able to do it by yourself. I always tell, if the parents are there, guide the child to do that. No? Then maybe a physical, just have a walk or certain stretch exercises, which will help you, or progressive muscle relaxation. You can learn and do these mindfulness exercises, grounding exercises. We teach the client, we ask them, like you take a tea break or a coffee break, do this mindfulness break. Like you do it, this just takes 3 minutes, but do it 4 to 5 times in a day. And you will see that whenever these thoughts are overwhelming, overpowering you, and you do this, immediately it helps you to get yourself into emotionally under control. And the progressive muscle relaxation, self-hypnosis techniques always help you. They are like the mental gym, like how you do the physical gym exercising. They are like the mental gym. These are the one of the coping skills and that you can learn to get your emotional control.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dipali. Thank you, Lions Club of Vijayanagar. And very important, thank you to Sri Datta for the smooth our webinar.
My
For
pleasure.
all giving back end support. So thank you and thanks audience for joining us. And we will be uploading this on our YouTube channel. So it can reach out to those who actually need this. So thank you so much and have a good night.
Thank you.